All right, guys, I'm back for part two. So the question that keeps getting asked a lot is, when the market gets this much anticipated correction to it, will this delay our squeeze for longer and longer and longer until the market bounces back up? The answer, in my humble personal opinion, is a big fat no. Because one, we're not correlating with the market. Like for the last time, I'll keep repeating this, we are not in the same bubble as the market. The market is affected to a certain extent with all the short sellers and all the hedge funds, but AMC, GameStop, meme stocks in general are shorted to oblivion. So they are over leveraged on those positions, and the rest of the market is where they make their bread. And they come and even make some. They used to make money with all the synthetics on the meme stocks, but now they can't no more unless they cover their positions, their short positions, which eventually we're going to get down to that. So quite the contrary, when the market gets a correction, it's actually better for us rather than worse for us. I'm not a financial advisor, guys. This is not financial advice. But the reason why I'm saying that is because these guys, I just said that they're very, very over leveraged on their positions and their short positions. And when the market corrects, look how much sense this makes. When the market corrects and their other portfolio, like positions in their portfolios, they have, they're invested in almost just about everywhere in other stocks. When those other stocks start going down in value, so will their leverage and so will their margin will skyrocket. And when that happens, then the banks are going to call in, similar to yesterday when UBS, called in and said, "Hey, what's up? Can you handle this? Like, are you okay with this much going on? Because it looks like your account, the funds in your account are drying out." And at a certain point, the banks are going to see too much risk. They're going to send them a margin call them with it, and then next thing you know, that's when you start seeing the covering. So as simple as that, guys. If a market correction happens, that's, in my opinion, it's much better for us. It's not worse. In fact, that's a catalyst for us because it will get us to start moving forward, because we are hurting them from that hold on that on our positions, and they're shorting them and they don't want to pay, but at the same time we're holding, we're not selling. So that's the very good news about that. The second we give them the mantle, all that goes away. So that's that covers that as far as that question. Now, the news that was passed today, as I'm looking here, and I will read to you, I've seen the version that the SEC, that Gary Gensler have shared, and I've seen the Dave Lahr version as well. It's kind of like he simplified it, but he didn't put exact like time frames and date lines and all that stuff. So I will read both to you. It says the SEC just proposed a new rule requiring short position disclosure, a modification to CAT reporting to buy to close orders. That right there is exactly what one of our members in the community was just asking me yesterday. And he asked me, and he was like, "Hey, how do we know? Like, you made a video," because I made a video on keeping your eyes on the short covering. That's when you know that, the price is beginning to reach, it's like the short squeeze is beginning to come to an end. Because when they start covering, the price start skyrocketing. And at a certain point, the FOMO will obviously stop, because you're talking about crazy prices. You're talking about, at that point, God knows, it could be in the upper hundreds. It could be in the mid to upper thousands. Who knows? So retail wouldn't be pushing it at that price. After all the covering is finished, retail won't be pushing it anymore. It would be more so of institutions possibly looking to make a lot of money on shorting the stock at that point, because it would be a nonsense, like, it would be a common sense move. A stock is not going to be at whatever price it is, whether it's 8,000 or 5,000. It's not going to be there for a long time. It'll be very short-lived. So they can buy a bunch at that point and short them, and they can exit those positions when it goes back to the normal stages. Whether I think, like in my personal opinion, I think the AMC is a $60 to $80 range stock value, like normal value. Anywhere between the $50 to $80 in between that, I think that's where it is. But who knows? I'm not into that game. So they will, like institutions, will have a lot of money to do that. And in fact, don't keep your eyes on this. Like a lot of institutions that were buying crazy amounts of AMC, they don't necessarily have to be buying them so they could sell them. No one is mentioning this, guys. Keep your eyes and your ears to that. That's why you got to keep looking throughout the whole market. And when the squeeze starts happening, don't close your eyes only on one theory that everybody must sell, because that's how we think. But there is many ways to, you know, I hate to use this analogy, but there's many ways to skin a cat. And down south, they know what I mean by saying that, because they use that a lot, especially in St. Louis. So they, like those BlackRocks and Vanguards, they could be having all these extra crazy amount of shares so they can dump them on the market as short positions when the price is, what they see is like at a really, at a peak, like at a crazy value. They have all the technology, all the analysts and the professionals to kind of tell them like, hey, this is that. And they have all the insiders to see when things are about to come to an end. So they have an advantage, of course. And they can make a lot more money doing so is by shorting those stocks back down on the way down, because that's crazy. I mean, just like people who are trying to get crazy lucky with calls on the way up, well, shorts can make crazy amount of money, even more money on the way back down. In fact, it's a lot less risky because you know 100% that those stocks are not going to stay in that range when they peak. You know they're going to drop. It's kind of like a easy, like a win-win situation. You know 100% that this is a very winnable bet. So keep your eye on that. So what the rule exactly would do is it will require the institutional asset managers to disclose gross short positions to the SEC, and would also eventually, remember this from yesterday, the video that I made yesterday? It's crazy that they made this today, that they voted on this today. And it would result in public disclosure of aggregate short position by the SEC on a per security basis. It's a great step forward, obviously, but we're going to have to see the thoughts on comments for it when it comes back for commenting. Literally, I just made this video about this yesterday to keep your eyes on the short positions. That's how you would know when, like, what the true value of your, your stocks that you're holding is. So don't fall for all the FUD out there and setting up pre-brackets for something. You don't know the value of this thing. Like, no one does. And when they start getting basically hemorrhaged, again, GameStop ran to upper 400s without any short covering. It's nothing but FOMO buying. And if FOMO buying can cause that, and covering still didn't even begin, then what is the true value of these shares? It's so unbelievable to me how a lot of people so undervalue the position that we're in. Like, don't fall for all this FUD out there, guys, and everything. This is simple. It's okay. It's psychologically hard, but practically, it's a very simple process. Follow the steps. Follow what makes sense. Go with what you see from what's being reported, the reports. See when the shorts are covering, and you can make a much more intellectual decision at that point. A much better professional decision for yourself. No need to count on this person or that person. Everybody cannot sell at 300, guys. It's impossible, because when majority of the selling, when a big amount of people sell at a certain price or around that range, then the selling pressure occurs, and eventually the price starts dropping, and vice versa on the way up as well. So don't fall for this crap of, this is where it is and this is going to end there. No. So it's so crazy that the very next day, just a day before I make that video, and today the SEC puts that, and then the second question was, how do we see the short that shorts are beginning to cover? Well, there we go. There it was right there. When these companies report to the SEC, in return, the SEC would result in public disclosure. Basically, it will disclose it to the public, and most likely through whether they're Twitter, which I don't think is the most professional way, but most likely will just pass it on to the data systems or services that people get connected to or subscribe to or buy, like the Ortexes or whatever, and then they will be also hand in hand with the SEC at that point, because their data have to match whatever is being reported. Otherwise, they will lose their whole business model, right? So it has to be verified. So big ups, guys. I'll come back for a third video, to point out something I saw also in the market today. And maybe that will be it for the Friday, to enjoy the Friday. Much love from AB.